Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I got another action figure review for you. This isn't a Black Series figure though today. This is a movie Realisation Stormtrooper. It's the kind of samurai kind of branch off of the Star Wars figures. They also do it for the Marvel line, and I'm sure they do it for others. You've probably seen Darth Vader, Darth Maul, Stormtroopers. They've recently just created a Mandalorian version of it. That looks awesome. I'd love to get my hands on one of those. But they also have things like Iron Man, Captain America, that sort of thing. And basically, it's like an 8-inch figure with changeable hands, accessories, that sort of thing. Just like any other action figure, but it is the kind of samurai inspired design, or redesign rather, and it looks awesome. As you can see, I've got one of the Stormtroopers here, and we're going to take a look at it. So straight off the bat, I mean, you've got different hands, which is awesome. You've got these fisted hands, which they just pop into the sockets at the wrists, so it's nice and simple. Mine, unfortunately, is a little bit loose in terms of when I click it in and put it into a pose, I have to kind of not touch it because it seems to want to pop back out. But you've got the fists there. You've also got some kind of like trigger gripping hands, or rather not necessarily trigger, but just looser grip. If you're going for something with a wider sort of grip needed, that's the kind of grip of these hands, because these are rock solid. They don't move. They're casted in hard kind of plastic resin, so as you can see, it's kind of that wider grip, but it doesn't bend. So you've got the wide grip, you've got the closed grip, which kind of brings it to a circle, as you can see, so that nothing's coming out. You can use these hands in whichever way fits whatever you're using. He does come with like the samurai sword and a blaster rifle, so you can use whatever you need to, but also obviously if you're going to use other things with him for display purposes, you can just use whichever hand fits. The design of the armor is pretty similar throughout. The paint applications aren't fantastic on this one, but again, this isn't the actual. I think it's Bandai that make these, but this is just the movie Realisation kind of Chinese version that I managed to get really really cheap and at a quick delivery time, and I just wanted to check it out. This was a while ago now, and it was awesome. So before I wanted to dive into maybe going down that route of the real thing, I just wanted to take a look at what it actually looks like in person. I was kind of inspired to take a look at it when I saw Sergeant Banana's sort of displaying one for some action figure photography with Tested. I also love Tested and Adam Savage, so I wanted to have a look at what these sort of things look like in hand, and they look awesome. I mean, if you look at the blaster rifle, this is one of my favorite pieces because it's got that kind of it's got the shape of the typical Stormtrooper blaster, but it's got that kind of steampunky kind of look to it with the design, but also that kind of samurai design as well, that inspired Japanese design, where it's got the silver and the brown, but it's got the kind of the emblems and designs and protruding shapes that are very decorative, and it's been kind of weathered with a black wash, if you can see, to kind of make it look weathered and used and realistic, and it does look awesome. I mean, this is the thing, is this is the kind of paint application on on a weapon that we're kind of looking for from the Black Series line to really bring them to the next level. So that's the sort of thing we're seeing there. In terms of the guy himself, I mean, taking a look at him, you've got the samurai sword, as I mentioned, with this kind of material looking grip, but it is just hard plastic. It isn't it isn't a soft good material or anything, but it does look like that kind of wrapping that you would get around a sword handle. But the samurai sword looks awesome. I love this idea of like a samurai stormtrooper, especially with him having a samurai sword, not just the regular blaster. In terms of what else comes with him, he does have this kind of sword sheath that does clip into his waist, so you can have it off and you can rotate it and have it however far down you need to get it on, as the samurai sword just flies out of his hand. But if I stand him there, you can see this. I mean, that looks awesome, and you can use this kind of thing with other figures or whatever you want. Like I said, he's an 8-inch figure, so he has a bit of a bigger scale than like your Black Series line or anything like that in the 6-inch. But there's plenty of 8-inch lines out there that you could utilize him with. And I mean, if you just take a look at him, he looks so cool. I mean, from the ground up, you can kind of see, no matter what the part of the Stormtrooper, they've not left any of it, not redesigned. And you can just kind of see the old school samurai looking kind of shin guards and the textures. He's got massive under trousers, kind of like pantaloons looking things, but he's got the decorative armor of a samurai warrior, some attachments on the belt. This isn't actually something you can take out, but it looks like it's the sheath of a dagger or something like that. And then looking up from the arm again, you got the wrist guards, and it's kind of like that padded kind of look. It kind of looks like cricket pads for legs, that kind of design of tube-like padding. And then you've got the kind of metal plated looking armor pads that do rotate at the shoulders, so you can move his arms. As you can see from here, as I mentioned with mine, the hands do like to pop out, just because, like I said, this isn't the OG piece itself. They will stay in there, and as long as you kind of force them in there for the shot or the display and then leave it, he's normally fine. It's just more normally when I'm moving him into other positions, he starts to unravel and come apart. But I mean, the original Bandai one I don't think would have this problem. This is more so that I got it from, let's just say, I imagine not someone who should have been selling it to me, in terms of it's owned by Bandai and or whatever, and if they just don't put the logo on the box, you still can't just sell other people's stuff. So basically that's the story behind this. But I mean, looking up to the helmet, like, I love the Stormtrooper helmet. It's one of my favourite designs in just pop culture. Obviously it's a classic, but the Samurai Stormtrooper helmet looks absolutely freaking awesome. I just like the idea of the combination of the Stormtrooper helmet that's already cool, like you can see in the front, but with the design here it's a little bit different, and then you've got the kind of imperial looking logos and the big samurai helmet backing. It comes together really well. Like, in terms of translation, like, some of the Marvel ones look really good, some of them don't really fit. Some of the Star Wars ones look really good, some of them don't really fit, in terms of at least the ones they've designed. The Stormtroopers, they all look freaking just killer. In terms of articulation, like I said, he's got pretty good articulation, but with mine, he does tend to want to fall apart. I mean, if I'm doing that, and his arm will come off. So I tend to move his body into certain positions and then kind of attach the attachments in that position. You've got the legs and like this and stuff like that. I'll tend to just put him into a position and then change his hands and change his weaponry, or even, for example, I'll put the weaponry in the hand first and then click it on, and that typically is the thing that tends to work for me with this figure, at least. I mean, in terms of the chest armor plate, it's kind of a weird design here, because it is an armor plate, but it's kind of got the ribbing and the chest of an actual just naked torso, but it's like designed that way. I haven't seen any like samurai armor that's like that. I've seen kind of reference photos of this sort of thing. I loved watching kind of samurai Japanese movies a while ago, like those old school movies, and even like some of the newer things that reference the material, because I'm a massive Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan, so that kind of artwork and design, I think it's so beautiful. It can look amazing. In terms of this guy, like, considering he's an 8-inch action figure, they've nailed it. It's awesome. Mine's not the most amazing, obviously. As I said, I would imagine that this is an imperfect figure that they sold away because it didn't make the cut of sort of selling, in the Bandai line, if they produced it themselves or whatever. And these are the kind of ones that didn't make the grade almost, but it's still pretty awesome looking. As you can see from the back, like the detailing again, that's all ribbed. That's not just like 2D, that's 3D ribbing. It looks really cool. I only use him for display purposes. Like, I just thought he was cool. I wanted to take a look at him. So obviously, I don't use him in my photography because, one, of the scale difference of my other figures that I use. Two, he's not the real deal, so he's quite difficult to actually get to stay sturdy and like not start falling apart. But he's got such awesome presence. I just thought it's an awesome piece that I want to display. So something to keep your eye out for, these kind of Japanese or imported figures that are just reimagination of characters and stuff like that. Like I say, they do it for Marvel and stuff like this, so you can have a look, and I'm sure there's all sorts of ones out there. I really wanted to get the Stormtrooper with the bow and arrow. I thought that was awesome. That's the one that Sergeant Bananas was kind of using, and unfortunately that one they were sold out of that. They didn't offer that when I was looking to get my hands on one to see it in person. But like this figure is really cool. It's really fun as a display piece. If I were to get the proper Bandai figures, like I do actually want to get the legit Mandalorian one, and I'd like to see if there's a sizable difference in terms of the quality of the joints and stuff like that, and them staying in in comparison to this one, and see if it isn't just the fact that I didn't get the Bandai one. It is just the way it's built, but I'd love to get that one for display purposes. But also I'd actually, with the Mandalorian one, I'd love to actually do some toy photography of that. So maybe in the future I'll whip this guy out to kind of fight Mando or something like that in some epic photography scenes. But for now he's just he's just the display guy, and he rocks it on my bookshelf. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I hope it was informative and maybe gave you a closer look at these kind of reimagined figures that aren't necessarily the mainstream figures, but they're more of an art sort of piece, or sort of exhibition, because somebody's redesigned this. Obviously someone got the license to do so originally. I can't say that for this one, but it's really cool when things are customed or reimagined in a way like this. And I think that because because Star Wars and the designs of, for example, Darth Vader and Stormtroopers and stuff like that, it was so heavily influenced by Japanese warrior kind of samurai culture and art. This is just an amazing transition and kind of remix of what is already a brilliant design. So imagine, when I look at this, I think it's so awesome, and I think imagine what Star Wars would be like if this was the design that they went for. For the actual the whole thing, if everything was in this kind of Japanese style, that would be so cool. Kind of like those old Japanese movie posters of Star Wars and Empire and stuff like that. I've got a couple of t-shirts with those on, and they're always really cool designs. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Do leave a like on it if you enjoy it, and subscribe to the channel for more. And you take care. I'm going to leave you with this, and I'll see you in the next one.